There is truly only one core feeling or one core emotion that you must trigger in order to truly ensure that a woman that you're with stays in love and falls in love and continues to respect you. I will say this a different way just one more time. Women only stay in love or consistently stay in love when you trigger this one core emotion, and the core emotion would be FOMO, fear of missing out, and specifically fear of loss. So this video is going to have probably a lot of uncomfortable truths. This video is going to probably shock a lot of you. But what you have to understand, what you have to internalize at a deep level, okay, is that if a woman doesn't fear losing you, there is no way she can stay in love with you or respect you. At all times, she has to know in her core heart of hearts, fundamentally, that if she does not treat you right, or if she does not act appropriately, you will leave the relationship, meaning you have the strength to exit. At all times, this has to be present. You'll see this with a lot of boyfriends, you'll see this with a lot of husbands, right? Something like she cheated, but they're trying to work through it. Whatever the hell that means. If a woman doesn't fear losing you, if she does not have fear of loss when she's around you, there is no way she can continue to love you or respect you, because in life you only fear losing something that has value. In life you don't fear losing anything that doesn't have value. You fear losing what's valuable. Okay? If I give you a sports car and it's worth 500 grand, you're going to fear losing that more than you would fear losing a car worth 10 grand. Why? Because there's more value there. The more value that you have, the more you are able to actually trigger the core feeling of fear of missing out, FOMO, or fear of loss. Now, there's a couple different ways to do this, and I'm going to explain. The reason why it's so important to internalize these concepts that I'm telling you is this is the only way to satisfy hypergamy. You have to understand this, right? If you give a woman, a guy who's 8 feet tall, a millionaire, whatever, but he has no core belief in himself and he has no way of exiting the relationship if poor behavior occurs, you have to understand that she fundamentally can't respect him. Like, the only way a woman can consistently respect you and adequately love you and show you genuine desire the way that you're wanting from a woman is if she knows that you have the strength to leave, is if she knows you have other options, is if she knows you have enough dignity and self-respect to exit a situation that you don't deem favorable for yourself. If you don't have that, how could hypergamy be satisfied? How could she actually value you? She can't. Which brings me to my next point. There's two different stages, or there's two different phases when you're dating a woman. There's the first phase when you're dating, and there's the second phase when you're in a relationship. Now, you have to really look at this at a deep level, okay? Most men are fundamentally not able to leave a relationship. Most men are fundamentally not able to exit a dating situation strictly because the woman's pretty. Her beauty holds that much power over him, which leads him to believe that he will never be able to attract another woman at or above her current level of attractiveness ever again. Now, if you ever feel that at any time, it's going to shine through. You can tell yourself all you want that you're going to make sure it doesn't. You can tell yourself all you want that you're going to, try to suppress that. But if at the core level you're not okay being alone, if at the core level you don't have the strength or the power to walk away if the situation is not favorable, it's impossible for her to respect you, because there's only one core emotion that continuously keeps her in love, and that would be fear of loss. If she does not fear losing you, it is virtually impossible for her to keep respecting you, or to keep loving you, or to desire to keep sleeping with you. There's no value there. So the reason why this is so important to understand is because the longer a man is with a woman, the more he ends up making a lot of conscious or subconscious yes concessions to different things that he wouldn't in the beginning of the relationship. Now, a lot of times what will actually happen too is the man, day by day, will fundamentally be getting weaker as he grows an attachment towards her. Now, a reason that is not talked about why this is so important is because to women, you have to continuously demonstrate pre-selection. Now, what tends to happen with most guys, the longer they date or the longer they're with one specific woman, is they lose the pre-selection that they once had. Pre-selection can be demonstrated on a lot of different angles or through a lot of different areas in a man's life. For example, if you go to a bar or club and you have a lot of women checking you out, you're going to notice that that guy has pre-selection. If you're in a social group or a social setting, okay, and you notice that, let's say one of the guys is, very attractive or gaining a lot of conversation from women, you're going to notice that he has a lot of pre-selection. But what happens at the deeper level of the relationship? What happens when you start dating continuously? What happens when you're 8 dates in, 12 dates in? What happens when you're 6 months in and it's just you and her going for a walk in the park? How do you continuously demonstrate pre-selection? How do you continuously demonstrate that other women at or above her current level of attractiveness, keep in mind, are interested in you or are still interested in you? It comes down to being able to say no. When you lose the ability to say no, stick with me on this, this will make sense. When you lose the ability to say no, you have fundamentally just denied yourself the ability to continuously demonstrate pre-selection, to continuously consciously or subconsciously signal to the woman that there is other women at or above your current level of attractiveness that I'm able to get or that I'm able to date, therefore I have the ability to say no or I have the ability to walk away. The reason why this is so important to understand is not because you're trying to use some type of false tactic. It's not because you're trying to demonstrate that you have to have all this leverage just to be mean. It's not because you're trying to show that, you're this dude that has to do all of these things. It's strictly because the way a woman falls in love and stays in love and continuously keeps loving you is through respecting you. And women do not typically do this ever if they don't see that other women are also interested in you. Women want value. And women oftentimes see value in what other women see value in. If you have a guy that's standing here and 10 women are interested in him, chances are the 11th woman that walks through the door is also going to be interested in him. What do you do when you are one-to-one dating that woman though? How do you continuously, consciously, and subconsciously keep demonstrating pre-selection? You have to be able to trigger the one core emotion, and the core emotion is FOMO, fear of missing out. Fear of missing out on his future, fear of missing out and a different woman will be able to scoop him up, fear of loss, okay, in the relationship where she feels that you have so much value that she couldn't even imagine losing you. You become her rock, you become her stability, you become her strength, you become her center almost when you operate this way. Because this is something that very few men actually have as frame. The relationship is very rarely ever this mutual lovey-dovey aspect. It's typically a consistent pull on either person's end, consciously, right, or subconsciously for leverage. And women oftentimes will attempt to gain that leverage slowly. A lot of times it's through getting the man to agree to things slowly over time that he doesn't even realize he's agreeing to. Or number two, what you also have to remember is this: when a woman is with a man, if he stops demonstrating the ability to say no, she feels as if he's been fully conquered. She feels as if he's been fully won over. So the reason why I want to title this video something along the lines of like the one core emotion that you must trigger in order to make sure that the woman stays in love, or the one core emotion that the woman has to feel when she's around you, is fear of loss or fear of missing out. You have to understand it is not due to the fact that you're attempting to use some false tactic. You strictly understand how female nature is and how female nature operates. And the way that female nature operates is it is absolutely ruthless when you demonstrate any form of weakness. All of a sudden, all compassion, care, and love that she once had for you goes right out that door. And you will watch that woman in her eyes. You will see in her eyes the switch. And when that switch flips and she no longer feels anything for you, she's gone. When she is gone emotionally from the inside out, there's nothing that you can do to win her back. There's nothing that you can do to salvage that relationship. It's over. Men oftentimes refuse to understand these principles because they are still under the false belief of unconditional love. They wholeheartedly and fundamentally believe that she can love you the way that you hope she can. They believe that she can love you the way that maybe your mother loved you, okay, or the way that your parents loved you, where it's unconditional and no matter what, you're still going to have somebody for you. You have to understand that it doesn't work like that, due to the fact that her desire level is going to be rooted somewhat in arousal, and her desire level is going to be rooted in her sexual desire for you. The only way that that stays and maintains is if you act right. If you do not act consistently the way that she needs to see that you have the ability to, she is not going to respect you. Men oftentimes care about what they see. Women care about how you act. And the better you get at acting the way a man has to act in order to satisfy hypergamy and keep female nature stimulated, okay, the better you're going to do at actually maintaining proper attraction. But the core emotion that you have to fundamentally ingrain into yourself, and for some of you, if you've lived under the false belief of unconditional love your whole life, you have to get a bit more serious with this. I see a lot of guys that are just not serious enough. They're not serious enough, therefore they don't have their masculine frame. They're spending their time doing fantasy football. They're spending their time at some sporting event. They're spending their time being a spectator in the stands. Well, you're not going to take yourself very seriously then. And if you don't take yourself very seriously, I understand that the fun guy might be able to get laid, but you have to understand this. When you are actually looking at retaining relationships, when you want to retain interest levels, you're going to have to be a man's man. She has to look at you and think you're mature. She has to look at you and think you know what you're doing in life. She has to look at you and actually sense strength within you. And you can't do that unless you have that masculine frame. You can't do that unless you understand how to maintain your own strength and leverage for yourself. You can't do this unless you have the ability to walk away, because she's always going to be asking for more. She wants more of everything, more of your time, more of your attention, more of your life, to essentially see how much she can slowly, consciously or subconsciously extract that energy out of you. And then when she sees that you're completely weak because you've not self-preserved your masculinity or your energy, now she has reason to leave and reason to exit because that well is dried up. This is so important to understand. Some of you won't like to hear this, but you need to really take a deep look and a deep reflection at your past relationships. Women are a mirror and will match the energy and reciprocate the energy or the expectation that's subconsciously communicated through who you are and through how you carry yourself. Because you are the man, you are the lead. And no matter how you want that to sound, it's an unspoken narrative that's happening the entire time. Okay? The woman, she's sitting in that feminine energy, receiving and seeing how you're acting. So because of that, her demeanor and her attitude will consistently change based on the energy, the active masculine energy that's in front of her. So this is just so important to understand. I see a lot of guys, they just don't take themselves seriously enough in some of these areas. And the reason why I want to make this video is because I see all of the time, I see really all the time, guys learn game, guys learn how to start going out and socializing, guys learn how to maybe go to the bar and, have fun and be charming and charismatic and meet a woman and all that stuff. But what happens over time is you'll notice that the woman starts to respect the guy less, and the guy doesn't have a very good run rate. What is a run rate? A run rate is how long, for example, if a business has a 2-year run rate, that means the business stayed in business for 2 years before the run rate was over and now they closed. Most guys don't have a very good run rate. It's like they see a woman for maybe 2-3 times, 2-3 dates, or maybe 2-3 months, and then it fizzles out or she pulls away and leaves him heartbroken. They don't have the internal stoic masculine characteristics to demonstrate frame that signals that he's a man's man. On a primal level, he is primally not satisfying hypergamy. He has not unlocked her primal desire in the way needed in order to get her to consistently want to stay by his side. And this is something that you can't fix with social skills. I don't care how many other pickup dudes or game gurus you're out watching. I don't care. I don't care how many dudes that you're watching that teach you how to do good approach and be this social butterfly and be this charming, charismatic dude out of, the party or whatever. I don't care about that with this video, because this is not about that. when you are dealing with women in regards to those things, you are looking at a lot of times short-term states that alter or change or pump her emotion, and it gets her to want to be with you romantically a lot of times short-term. Or what will happen is a lot of times that guy will be able to get laid. But this has absolutely nothing to do with retaining the interest level of the woman that you're with. And one of the biggest issues that I constantly see, the only time a guy really even comes to my channel or starts interacting with any of the content that I've made, it's never when he just can't get laid. It's always when she pulls away and leaves him heartbroken. And it's because the pain is what causes him to seek different answers, which is why I'm making this video, so you understand how to not fall into that pain. And what it comes down to is being able to walk away, understanding that the core emotion of fear of loss, okay, or fear of missing out has to be stimulated, not because you're using a tactic, but because it's rooted in female nature to gravitate towards pre-selection. And the only way you demonstrate that pre-selection in a long-term relationship is your ability to leave if the circumstances is not favorable to you. So no matter what, no matter how this makes you feel, the second a guy can't do that and he's too weak to leave, don't worry, because she'll just do the leaving for you. Rest assured, she won't care.